Okay, so today we're going to meet a composer who was a total musical revolutionary. His name was George Gershwin, and you could kind of say he was the original remix artist, dropping these incredible musical mashups way, way before they were even a thing. You know those mashups you see on TikTok or YouTube, right? Where someone takes two totally different songs and mixes them into something new and just awesome? Yeah, feels like a super modern idea, doesn't it? Well, what if I told you the guy who basically invented that whole concept was doing it almost 100 years ago? Yep, we are heading back to the roaring 20s to meet the original master of the musical mashup himself, George Gershwin. Now, you gotta understand, Gershwin wasn't some stuffy, formal classical prodigy. Not at all. He was a regular kid from Brooklyn, son of immigrants, and honestly, he was way more into playing sports out on the streets than he was practicing scales on a piano. But then, his family bought a piano, for his older brother actually, but it was George who just couldn't stay away from it. Turned out, he had this insane natural talent. He only started taking lessons when he was 12, but by 15, get this, he was so good he dropped out of high school to become a professional musician. And by 21, bam, he wrote a song called Swanee that basically went viral. His rise to fame was just unbelievably fast. So where does a 15-year-old pro musician even work? A place called Tin Pan Alley. And the best way to think of it is like the 1920s version of a TikTok creator house. It was this whole neighborhood in New York City packed with songwriters, all in this crazy race to write the next viral hit. It was the perfect place for a guy like Gershwin to really master writing a super catchy tune. But here's the thing, Gershwin didn't just want to write hit songs. Nope, he had way bigger ambitions. He wanted to create a sound that nobody, and I mean nobody, had ever heard before. A sound that truly captured the wild energy of modern America. So here's his basic formula. On one side, you've got classical music. Very traditional, very European, with really strict rules where you had to play every single note exactly as it was written on the page. And on the other side, you have American jazz and blues, music that was all about feeling and bending notes and just making it up as you go. Gershwin looked at these two completely separate worlds and just decided to smash them together. And one of the key ingredients he used was this thing called syncopation. Basically, it's a rhythm that feels just a little bit offbeat. It kind of catches you by surprise and just makes you want to tap your foot or nod your head. This was the secret sauce that made his music feel so alive and so modern. Then, in 1924, he dropped his masterpiece, Rhapsody in Blue. Man, this was the ultimate musical mashup. It opened with this legendary wailing clarinet solo that nobody saw coming. He put a jazz band and a full symphony orchestra on the same stage, and the audience just went wild. It was this huge statement that proved once and for all that jazz wasn't just music for dancing, it was serious art. So, after taking over Broadway and the concert hall, Gershwin set his sights on what you could call the final boss of the music world, writing a full-blown opera. But of course, he was going to do it his way. He wanted to create what he called a folk opera. And to get ready for this opera, which was called Porgy and Bess, Gershwin went on this deep dive to find authenticity. I mean, he didn't just read about the African-American culture of the South. He actually moved to an island off the coast of South Carolina. He spent time there, just soaking in the music, listening to spirituals, trying to really understand the world he wanted to put on stage. This project was a massive commitment. It took him almost 2 years to write. And Gershwin had one rule. Just one, but it was non-negotiable. The opera had to be performed by an all-black cast. You have to realize, in the 1930s, this was a radical move. It broke down these huge racial barriers in the arts and created this incredible platform for Black performers at a time when opportunities were extremely limited. He was really clear about his goal. He said, "I am writing a folk opera, a music that is a part of the life of the people." He wasn't trying to copy some old European opera. He wanted to capture a uniquely American story with music that felt real and truly connected to the lives of the people on that stage. But this is where the story gets complicated, because even with his best intentions, Porgy and Bess sparked a huge debate, one that's actually still happening today. And the whole debate really comes down to this one really powerful question. Yeah, he did the research, he had the vision, but as a white Jewish composer from New York, was this actually his story to tell? Look, there are no easy answers here. On one side, the opera was a landmark achievement. It celebrated Black musical traditions on a global stage and gave a vital platform to Black artists. But on the other side, critics rightly asked, was it a truly authentic representation? Did it rely on stereotypes? And where is that line between appreciating a culture and, well, appropriating it? This opera really forces us to ask those tough questions. Despite all the debates, Gershwin's influence is just undeniable. He spent his last few years out in Hollywood, writing iconic music for movies, and he really seemed to be at the absolute peak of his career. And then, just like that, it was all over. While he was working in Hollywood, Gershwin started getting these really severe headaches. It turned out they were caused by a brain tumor. He died in 1937 at just 38 years old. The music world was just stunned. Can you imagine what more he could have created? But his music, his legacy, is eternal. He even won a Pulitzer Prize after he died. His music is everywhere. You hear it in movie soundtracks, in concert halls, even in commercials. He inspired countless artists and proved that music really does have the power to connect different worlds in beautiful and totally unexpected ways. So, Gershwin's story leaves us with more than just incredible music. It leaves us with a really big, really important question that is more relevant today than ever. In art, in movies, in music, who gets to tell a story? And what's the right way to do it? There are no easy answers, but it's definitely something worth thinking about.